Hey guys, how are you? Let's take a moment because today is finally going to be the time for Peter Kamil reaction video. I have finally read this novel and I have some thoughts, and after reading the novel, I sort of thought a lot about whether I should make a reaction video or just like leave it all together. Before starting the reaction video, there were a couple of things that I was concerned about. First of all, Islam is not my religion. So, and this book, although portrayed on Bookstagram as a romantic one, this is a heavily spiritual book with elements of romance, is what I felt. So I was unsure that, like, me being a Hindu, should I comment on this or like let it go, let it forget altogether. But since a lot of people has asked for my, like, a lot of people being three has repeatedly asked for my Pire Kamil reaction videos, so here I am. um, like I said, Islam being a heavy topic where this book delved into, it was my primary concern that should I make a video, should I react to it, should I like do a lot of things. But then I thought, this is the whole point of literature, right? Like, to have a open discussion about things that we agree with, things that we do not agree with. Secondly, I was also feeling a bit ballsy because I was like, let's do it, even though this is way off of the topic that I like want to touch in my on my channel. But I was like, okay, let's like buckle up, have the courage, and speak up. And third, because this is a Pakistani novel, and as we all know what's going on recently, the geopolitics have not been um, well, that good, to put it mildly. So I was like, will they think that me being an Indian is why I am reacting like this or whatever? But that doesn't essentially mean that this is going to be a negative review. No, I have very good things to say about the book, and I have some opinions that people might not agree with. So, without further ado, let's begin. So the novel, okay, first of all, last time when I made a reaction video, it was like in real time, but this is not going to be in real time because when I made the reaction video in real time, there were a lot of moments where I was just reading and then I have to put audios in it and then it got copyrighted. I was a relatively new YouTuber back then, and now I have to take that video down. I'm just like keeping it up till monetization or whatever. But yeah, eventually I will have to take the first video that I made on Pire Kamil. Um, I have to take it down. Yeah. And secondly, initially when I began with this novel, I started with audiobook, but then I thought that no, I'm not comfortable with it if the physical copy exists. So, which it did, I got to know and I bought it, and that's why a physical copy is here. And I started reading it. That's why I was able to finish it. Otherwise, audiobook was being very difficult for me. Like, I'm not an audiobook person, I'm not a Kindle person, I'm just a paperback person or a hardcover, if it's Penguin cloth bound classic. So, yes. That being said, let's get into the reaction video. So, the novel starts on a very like, it's dual timeline and not necessarily the same year, and it was very confusing at the beginning. Like I have said in my earlier video of Pire Kamil, I did not get like if Salar was younger, than Imama, or like what was going on. But eventually the timeline coincides, and we get to know that okay, the author was just, playing around with the timeline, and that was it. And Imama is actually younger than Salar. So that was a big confusion initially, but it eventually got solved as the story progressed. The second thing was that had me concerning a lot. Like, it also built the suspense of the novel, like what is it about. But in the first chapter itself, there's a point where Imama's friend Zuveria tells her what her like ultimate wish for her life is, and the author does not disclose what that wish is. Like, that tension, that suspense has been built up for a majority of first and second chapter. So it was again a bit like I was very curious, and that got me into reading. Like, it sped me up, sort of. Secondly, what I thought was when Salar's chapter began in the first chapter, like when Salar was introduced, it was through like he and his brother was fighting. And it was not a usual sibling fight, because in usual sibling fight you fight just to like assert dominance, not hurt them. Okay. I have a younger sibling. He's like 8 years younger to me. And whenever we fought, it was just me asserting dominance. I did not want to physically hurt him. But here, he broke his nose. Okay. Salar, being the younger sibling, broke his elder sibling nose. I think Moise is older to him, right? I do not know. Anyway, so like I was like, where are the parents, dude? Like, why is this happening? What's wrong? What's like, please, like, interfere, do your job. What's going on? Also, as the story progresses, like every now and then, the author has thrown on reader's face that Salar Sikandar is someone with an IQ of 150 plus. He does not pay attention on classes because apparently he knows everything. He does not care enough to be respectful towards his teachers, and all of them are in just like all of them are in awe of him, because they are like, okay, he has an IQ of 150. And I was like, am I supposed to be attracted to that just because he has an IQ of 150? Like, listen guys, I am as a person more attracted to kindness, more attracted to respect than, just boastful, just like than just some guy who is rodomontating about his intelligence, is what I'm trying to say. So I was like, I get it where the people on Bookstagram come from. They are worshipping Salar Sikandar, but as the like uh, in the initial few chapters, like few parts of the chapter, I so did not like Salar Sikandar. I was like, am I reading the right novel? Because this is not I was told through Bookstagram. And this is where it comes. Like, this is where the thing that you have to be very attentive with what you grab from Bookstagram, because some things are portrayed on the basis of like two, three lines, and they built a whole um, sort of vibe towards it, towards a character, and then the character does not seem to be justifying that vibe when you get to read the novel. So it was underwhelming at best, and mildly irritating, because it was like, yeah, he has an IQ of 150. What do you want to do? Like, what do you want me to do with that information? I get it, he's intelligent, but he's not being respectful or kind or like humble about it. Okay, so I was not really into it for a long while. Also, this has been told like through he is not just dismissive towards his teachers or his elders, he's also dismissive towards his mother. And no matter the amount of intelligence you get, or you may be like an IQ of 180, I do not care. If you're shitty towards your mother, like, dude, there's something wrong with you, like hugely wrong with you. And the way he speaks throughout, like, not throughout, like throughout the first part of this book, the way he speaks with his parents, very dismissive, very like arrogant vibe. Like, I get it, if you're, I'll know where you come from as a teenager. If you're shitty towards your probably peers, okay, maybe I can also get you being shitty towards your teachers. But dude, parents, and you have been worshipped by the whole bookstagram community, I did not get it. Like, I was heavily disappointed in his character in the beginning. And after, when like the story, by the way, this is going to be a huge spoiler, so buckle up. um I will, although I will also put a warning before this video starts that there will be spoilers. So people who have not um, read the novel, so the people who have not read the novel can like skip it and come back after they finish the novel to know what the community is saying. Not the community, I am saying. But this is a huge spoiler. Him trying to commit suicide, it does not come across as a mentally like a stable person. He seemed mentally so unstable, and that made me question his intelligence as well. But I do know for a fact that the more intelligent, like more um, heavily burdened you are with knowledge, human mind is such that it will start creating thoughts that are very destructive the more intelligent you are. So I get it scientifically that him trying to understand what death is, what ecstasy, what all of these things are, I get it, but it was like mildly annoying for me. And he came across as a very mentally unstable person. But just because I know that fact, I was like cutting him some slack. Otherwise, I would have thrown this book across if I did not know that fact. And it was just said multiple times, like it was thrown on my face that he is a person with 150 IQ, and he was just going like trying suicide, committing suicide every now and then. I would have just thrown the book across like from the balcony. And yeah. Also, by the way, like, when as the story progressed, and this is huge, okay, bear with me, both these characters that people are crazy about, Mama and Salar, they were like so irritating for me. They were like, Mama comes across like, I don't know what the author was trying to accomplish here. Maybe she was trying to make me look like an idiot, because after that it was a very good character development that the character development, not Imama though, like I did not see much of character development in Imama. And Salar was also very judgmental towards the end, which I'll talk about towards the end of this video, like end of the book, why I felt so. But like, initially the author has written both these characters to like blow readers mind, is what I feel. Because Imama came across as so selfish and rude. Like, she was always, I get it, you are going through a spiritual awakening of some sort, but like, don't be so. Shouldn't a spiritual awakening make you a bit, like, make you settle down some way emotionally? Shouldn't that be the case? I have been through one, and like, I did not understand it where she was coming from. I get it that you belong to one religion, you want to know about other religion, but I do not get the whole point of being rude to everybody. Like, I was not, and by the way, Salar, I understand because he was in the initial chapters, he was just a teenager. So I understand with the whole hormone thing, the whole science thing, that yes, you become a bit crazy. But Imama was, I think, doing her medical, right? So she was already in college, which is like 17, late teenage, young adult sort of way. Do not be rude, girl. Like, what are you doing? Stop it. Stop. Get a grip on whatever you are dealing with. Get a grip. Do not be rude to people. I already feel that I have to make a couple of parts of this whole reaction series of Pire Kamil because, like I said, it's going to be a long one. I'll be ranting about this book for a long, long time. It's not going to be like the Mindfuck series. I have to make a couple of parts of it because it's already 17 minutes since I've been ranting. And yeah, I have a lot of things to say. So grab whatever snacks you want, grab your drinks, and let's settle down. Anyway, so the story progresses, and I get to know as a reader that Mr. Salar Sikandar has tried to commit suicide again. And he did not just do it, like, it was not a suicide, it was a whole mission to sabotage everybody else because he entered a wrong lane and he sped up. He got hit by a car and he got flying across, hit his head or whatever chest and threw up blood and somehow survived it, which I get it. There are people who survive accidents, but the whole point of suicide, dude, is to like jeopardize your own life and not other people. And like, okay, I get it, you want to explore the idea of ecstasy, death, pain, whatever comes across after that. I did not agree with the idea of ruining people's life. There are people on the street, a father, a brother, mother, children. What are you trying to accomplish here? Does your idea of pain involve like um, killing someone else? You are responsible for your own life. Take it whatever. I do not care. But what was that? And like, people were so idealizing this guy. I get it. After the whole spiritual awakening, he was a good guy relatively, like hugely good guy. But like, please speak about the things that he has done wrong. And it's like, being in the red light area, I was like shocked to know that. I was disgusted to know that, but it didn't make me hate the character. Jeopardizing, because there are both the parties involved. The women involved was maybe thrown into this whole trade of prostitution. So, and she never found that, way to get away with it somehow. So it was her whole, the circumstances of her life. You were there by your own choice. She was getting hurt through this whole, like, men trying to buy women for pleasure. I get it. I get the whole point. I was disgusted through it, like when he later on went to the red light area. But this is like, you're killing someone entering the wrong lane. There will be cars, there will be bikes, there will be people, there will be children crossing the road, and you decided, wow, let's have this adventure and get it over with. Like, what was that? It was like every bad thing that you could think of he has done except murder and forcing himself on a woman. He has done it all. I don't get it. I'm not very. I was like unsure where this book was going. I just went through the entire book, and yes, I do have a lot of things to say. So we are going to go part wise. This is just a reaction video for part one of the in the novel, not part one of the audiobook. I think they are both different because the audiobook would have been like the first part would have been longer. There are only 10 chapters in this book, so I'll just go chapter wise. This is for chapter one. Anyway, as the story progresses, like I said, he was in red light area, and then we get to know that he was only 19 years old when he did that. So yeah, I've already made my comment on that, and I sort of made my peace. I could not made my peace with the idea of like harming other people, so that was like more concerning for me than him being in the red light area. As the story progresses, he actually commits another suicide. He was not just suicidal, he actually did it. He planned the entire thing, committed the suicide, got saved again. Like God was with him, let's say, let's put it that way. And by the time, like when he was like, there were two instances where he committed suicide, I was like hoping that he dies in this book. Like I was like so done with it. The author really tested my patience with this book. Throughout the first, like the majority of the first chapter, Imama, whatever her name is, she was being really fishy about things, like very secretive, very to herself. Like we do not see much of her personality, and the later on when we see her personality, it's not like wildly different. The character development was not very insane as it was with Salar Sikandar. And then there are like there was this whole thing where Salar, like if you're such a alpha dude, such a male, such a great mind who does not fear anything, who is in the pursuit of finding what is after ecstasy, pain and death and whatever, why are you lying to your parents? What's that about? Like just try telling your parents that you are attempting suicide. Maybe they'll kill you. Maybe you will get to experience death through their hand. That would come across as a shocker for you, but yeah, that could happen. But he continuously, like for the majority of the part, he kept on lying to his parents about like, oh no, this happened, somebody tried to tie me and drown me in the river, and then he gave the whole sketch of this imaginary person. He did all of that. Like why are you lying, dude? If you're just in pursuit and you think this is like such an intelligent move, like oh my god, IQ 150 above, like this is like people, common people should understand it. This is like the Sherlock Holmes kind of shit where you go like, you shut up, you lower the IQ of the entire street. One of those things. Why are you lying, was my question. I think it's a genuine question. And like whenever when the parents found out that he's actually actively committing suicide, nobody is after their son's life, they question him. And then he was like, the goal I have set for myself is profound. It's like Dostoevsky sort of stuff. And I have to just commit suicide. This is my goal in life. And I was like, he's mental. And I do not understand girls on Bookstagram. I absolutely do not. Like, I have still my days where I dabble on the thought that yes, Bookstagram is a good thing. When it comes to romance and dark romance, is still like I have got good recommendations. But then this book made me question a lot of things. Like, what's going on? First of all, do not um, propagate this book as a romance book. Say it rightly, it's like it's a spiritual book. It dabbles heavily on the idea of spiritualism with elements of romance. Say it as it is. Do not publish or like promote it as a romantic book, because like they have met 5 times. Salar and Imama have met 5 times before. Like I think so, they have met 5 times, not even that much, before they sort of decided to get married. So yeah, it's not a romantic book. Midway, we got to know that. probably like not midway through the first chapter, we got to know that Salar might be Imama's brother's friend. So there was this whole trope of brother's best friend, but not best friend, just brother's friend. So I like the fact that Umaira Ahmad chose one of, the most used romance trope to suggest that, because otherwise I was thinking that where are these two people gonna meet. But then it was shown that this was like he was their neighbor. So I was like interested to know what unfolds. And again, we have Imama being super fishy throughout the whole first chapter. The way I'll say it has been written is like the author wrote it as she was being very selfish, and most of the time I was thinking that she was having a, like, I will give the credit to the author for this, because she has had me thinking that this Imama girl is into someone else and she was being selfish for her own reasons. It was like revealed later on that she was having this spiritual awakening of some sort. And yes, the character, finally I got this character that I liked so much, because my girl does not play around. Like, she was like fiery, feisty with everything she has got to say. And the girl was Rabia. um she seemed very intelligent, like not in the later part, but in the first chapter of the book she seemed like somebody with brains and somebody with the daring to call it as it is. Mama goes to somebody else, like it is not revealed where she was. She went to this spiritual lecture, religious lecture. She did not tell anybody about it because her family would have been against it. They were a sect of Muslims, which in the Muslim community are debated as not being the sect of as not being the sect of Islam. Pardon me. Also, here I would like to mention I do not belong to the religion. So, but I'm an Indian. I have been brought up in a way that I respect all the religion. If in case, due to my soul misunderstanding or lack of knowledge, I end up offending anything regarding Islam or any religion, please do not take it at heart. Please correct me in the comment section. I did not mean to offend anyone through this. Okay, that being said, let's get back to the reaction video. Yes, what I was saying was that Imama belonged to a sect of Islam, and in the Islamic community, this sect is not recognized as a sect. And I see where they come from. I'll talk to you about it later on because I did some research on it. Anyway, so like she went to this religious lecture. She did not tell anybody. She jeopardized the whole, like, not only her uh, career or life in general, she also jeopardized her friend's career as well, because they had to lie to save her, Imama's, like, to save her ass. But and she was like very casual about it. She was not accepting her mistake. She was like very arrogantly lying on their face until Rabia called her out. And I was like, oh my god, dude, you're having a spiritual awakening. The like the least you can do is be considerate of another human being. That is the basis of every religion, like, be it whatever, Islam, Christianity, Hindu, be considerate of other creature that God has created. Like, what kind of a spiritual awakening is this? You being jeopardizing of like, you jeopardizing the your entire friendship with Zuveria and Rabia, and lying to them. At least tell them the truth. If it was Zuveria who called you out on something, like you have to be Muslim, or like you have to accept Islam, just tell her. Like, what was that all about? I did not understand where she was coming from, and that was like thoroughly selfish. You cannot convince me otherwise on that. I'm really sorry. Like, girls like that, I can never be friends with these kind of people who are just like thinking solely about themselves. I get it, you are in the path to your spiritual knowledge, and nothing is greater than that if you are in that path. And I understand that where you are coming from, there are people who keep it above everything else. But if you're someone who has read Quran, if you're someone who has read Gita, I do believe there are, like, the basis of every religious teaching is this, that you have to be considerate of other people, you have to help other people, you have to be kind to other people. You cannot just be like, okay, I'm doing this to make God happy. The only thing that you can, like, the the only thing that is, I think, going to make God happy is you being kind to all the other creatures that he has created. Like, it's like a no brainer sort of thing. But like, Imama was so selfishly, oh my god, she pissed me off big time when this whole Rabia, Zuveria, and Imama thing happened in the novel. Like, I was so angry, and I was like rooting for Rabia. Like, go for it, girl. Go, like, say what you want. You are so rightfully, you're so within your rights to call her out on her selfishness. Be it whatever, do not jeopardize others career just because of your own selfishness. I do not care about what you're trying to achieve from it. The ends does not justify the means. Yes, finally I have the right words to convey what I'm trying to say. She was incessantly lying until, like, Rabia told her specifically that this is why they believe that you were not there. And she was otherwise like very arrogantly just, dismissing their whole argument. And I was so pissed. Like, I don't think lying is like permitted in any religion, dude. Like, what are you up to? And that's why, like, I loved Rabia's character. She was very straightforward. She was like no nonsense attitude. She was like, okay, if you're not going to accept it, we are going to talk with to the warden, we are going to tell your parents, and then you deal with whatever comes your way. She was like not playing around, and that made this Imama confess. And there were like so many instances where they were answering and they were sort of like keeping the readers clueless. Like, Umaira Ahmad kept me clueless throughout the entire first chapter. Like, Imama tells Zuveria why she did what she did. She went to meet Sabiha, and tells Zuveria that, why I met Sabiha. But then Zuveria was like clueless, like, girl, what you're talking about? Like, we don't get it. So, and then that made me clueless, because if Zuveria said that, okay, I know, I would have connected it to the first instance where Zuveria told her what her, like, ultimate wish for the life was. I would have connected the dots, but it was not like that. So, yep, clueless is what I was, and pissed, majorly pissed. And then, oh my god, the revelation for me and a lot of my friends when I talked to them about this. Zuveria, the instance where Zuveria tells Imama that I want you to be Muslim. And I was like, Imama seems like a Muslim name. How is she not Muslim? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is Pakistan we are talking about. Is she a religious minority there? Is she a Hindu? But then there is Imama, but the name was Muslim. And then I was like, maybe the Hindus, like, it happens regional wise. Like, I like a lot the name Dua. Deepika named her child Dua, Deepika Padukone. And I was like, okay, it's a great name, why bring religion into it? So maybe that's what Hindu thought, and maybe she is not a Muslim. And Pakistan is an Islamic state, so maybe that's what they want, like, to have her convert or whatever. I was like so clueless, like where this story is going. I was told this was a romantic novel. It's not seemingly so. This is like, oh my god, it was, yeah. There was like, I had some issues, is what I'm going to say. Then the way her friends reacted, Imama's friends reacted on, like, when they were in school, there was this girl, I forgot her name. She reacted so badly to Imama's. Faith is a very personal thing, guys. This is a conversation between you and Allah, you and God, you and Bhagwan. Do not so boldly be judgmental about those things that are very personal, that are between you and God. Do not be judgmental about it. Like, don't judge other human beings on that. Like, what is this about? I was so like, Imama was so right on reacting. Like, there were instances where she was very right, and one was reacting so boldly to the fact, to reacting so boldly towards her friends when they were sort of, calling her out that you are not Muslim, you do not practice this, you, all of those things. I was like, how could you be so vocal about it? Like, no, I'm pretty sure it's like God who is in the right to judge any human. I'm pretty sure humans have sinned multiple times, to not be judging the fellow human beings. I was like, what? What is going on?